Look, welcome to the Neuroleft. It's Saturday, January 17th, 2026, and I'm coming to you from the barn, which I should note is currently the only place on this 50-acre sanctuary where the internet isn't actively committing suicide. Mitch is here, by the way. He's currently trying to eat my hoodie. Mitch, let go. I need that for the gravitas, buddy.
Careful, John. That pilled-up gray thing has seen more history than most textbooks at this point. I'm Mary Kane, broadcasting from the rent-controlled bunker in Queens, where the sirens are. Hold on. There they are, right on cue. It's like a symphony for the end of the world, isn't it? Honestly, I gotta tell you, I've covered conflict zones where the air felt cleaner than the political atmosphere in D.C. right now.
It's not just the atmosphere, Mary. It's the biological reality of it. We are in a national edging session where nobody gets to finish and the room is on fire. We've got Trump playing real estate agent with other people's continents. We've got the DOJ trying to turn governors into federal inmates. And RFK Jr. is apparently treating the Department of Health like it's a clearance rack at a TJ Maxx.
It's a mess. It's a total rain-delayed doubleheader where the players are throwing the bats at the fans. But look, here's the deal. We gotta start with the imperial ambitions of the man in the high tower. John, you saw the Truth Social post this morning?
Saw them? Mary, I nearly dropped the bottle I was feeding the goat. Look, he's officially declared economic war on Europe because Denmark won't let him put a Trump Greenland sign on the Arctic Circle. A 10% tariff on 8 European nations. Sweden, Norway, the UK, Germany. Essentially everyone who doesn't want to see a casino on a glacier.
Wait, 8 nations? He's hitting the whole neighborhood?
Exactly! It's the get off my Arctic lawn policy. He's calling it retaliation for interference in the Arctic. And the ultimatum, Mary, this is the part where the Jon Stewart sputter becomes a permanent facial feature. He's saying if the deal for the complete and total purchase of Greenland isn't done by June 1st, the tariff goes to 25%.
Are you kidding me with this guy? 25% on the UK and Germany? I mean, I've seen some neighborhood feuds in my day, usually over a parking spot in Sunnyside. But this is like the landlord trying to sell the neighbor's garage and then throwing bricks through the windows when the neighbor says no.
Right, but it's worse because he's framing it as a national security issue for the Golden Dome missile defense. He's claiming Europe is journeying to Greenland for purposes unknown, which is literally just Danish officials going to their own territory to remind people they own it. It's legislative constipation on a global scale. We're holding up the entire transatlantic economy because he wants to play Risk in real life.
And you know the Europeans aren't just going to sit there. You got protests in Copenhagen, the largest transatlantic crisis since NATO was founded. And for what? A piece of land that isn't for sale. It's like me trying to buy the Statue of Liberty and getting mad when the feds don't send me the deed.
I mean, here's the thing. The bipartisanship in D.C. is so dead that the only thing left moving are the flies, but even they are panicking. You've got lawmakers flying to Denmark for damage control while the president is busy live tweeting the end of the free trade era. It's performative masturbation with a global price tag.
Honestly, it makes the domestic stuff feel even more frantic. Speaking of frantic, can we talk about the betrayal in Pennsylvania? Because I gotta tell you, my blood is boiling over this Fetterman situation.
Oh, the Working Families Party they just pulled the pin on that grenade, didn't they?
They didn't just pull the pin, John. They built a whole website around it. primaryfetterman.com. It's got a sellout tracker, a donation refund tool. I mean, I covered the 80s labor strikes, and even those guys didn't have this level of organized, we are done with you energy.
Well, look, can you blame them? Fetterman is out here supporting the Republican budget bill that's going to hike healthcare premiums for 500,000 people in his own state. It's like the guy who promised to fix your roof just came over and took out the support beams for a laugh.
Right? And he's backing the Greenland thing. And the Venezuela eccentricities. It's like he woke up one day and decided the Union Hall vibe was a costume he was bored of wearing. He's pivoting so hard to the right, he's going to give himself whiplash.
It's the classic Senate trajectory, Mary. You go in as the common sense outsider, and then you start inhaling the mahogany fumes in the cloakroom, and suddenly you're endorsing ICE deportations for criminal immigrants because you think it makes you look tough for a 2028 run that nobody even asked for.
You hate to see it. It's a total fumble in the red zone. The base feels left out in the cold, literally, in the case of those healthcare premiums. But hey, at least we have Zohran Mamdani in New York City trying to prove you can actually govern from the left without selling your soul to a real estate developer, right?
We'll see. Governing New York is like trying to groom a tiger with a toothbrush. It's messy, and someone usually ends up bleeding. But let's shift, because while we're talking about people selling souls, we gotta look at what RFK Jr. is doing in HHS. It's a Make America Healthy Again fever dream.
Oh, the alphabet soup purge. I heard the numbers today. 20,000 employees gone?
Gone. A quarter of the workforce. They've shuttered half of the regional offices. And did you see the SAMHSA thing this week? The $2 billion for mental health and substance abuse programs?
I saw the reversal. He tried to cut it, people screamed, and he put it back in 48 hours.
It's chaos, Mary. It's not a policy, it's a temper tantrum. He's folding everything into this administration for a healthy America, but he doesn't have the staff to run a lemonade stand, let alone the nation's public health. It's the purity of nature excuse used to justify burning down the laboratory.
It's a split-screen world, John. You've got the HHS being dismantled by a guy who thinks tap water is a conspiracy, and then on the other side, you've got the Artemis II rocket rolling out to the launch pad today. We're going to the moon while we're arguing about whether vaccines are magic.
God, it's the ultimate American paradox. We can put a human on a lunar trajectory, but we can't figure out how to keep the CFPB from being executed by the OMB.
Oh, don't even get me started on the CFPB. That's your wheelhouse, John. Tell the people how Russell Vought is trying to starve the baby.
Look, here's the deal, and this is where I get the Senate nerd twitch. Russell Vought is basically telling the CFPB, I know the court says I have to request your funding from the Federal Reserve, but since the Fed is operating at a loss, it's actually illegal for me to give you the money. It's a legal catch-22 designed to let the agency's heart stop beating by the end of the month.
So he's just not paying the bills? Like a deadbeat tenant?
Exactly, but a deadbeat tenant who is also the landlord's accountant. And while he's starving them of cash, the DOJ is setting up this shadow branch to take all their cases. They're moving consumer protection into a political office so they can decide who gets prosecuted based on, well, probably based on who donated to the campaign. It's a power grab that would make a Gilded Age robber baron blush.
You hate to see it. It's like a plumber who stops the leak by just turning off the water to the whole neighborhood. Look, no more leaks. Yeah, but nobody can take a shower, Russ.
It's all connected, Mary. The gutting of the administrative state, the trade wars, the criminalization of dissent, which actually that brings us to the real horror show, the main event.
Oh, you're talking about Minnesota. The war on the sanctuary cities.
It's more than a war now, Mary. It's a criminal hunt. The DOJ has officially opened a criminal investigation into Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey. And I'm not talking about some regulatory slap on the wrist. They are using 18 U.S.C. Section 372.
Wait, hold on. Reconstruction era? The stuff they used to fight the KKK and keep federal officers from being lynched?
That's the one. Conspiracy to prevent federal officers from performing their duties through force, intimidation, or threats. They are claiming that Jacob Frey saying, get the f*** out of Minneapolis, and Tim Walz telling people to film ICE agents is, get this, criminal intimidation.
Are you kidding me? Honestly, I've heard worse intimidation from a guy at a deli counter when they're out of pastrami. This is a historic escalation. They're reclassifying political speech as a federal felony. It's a war on reality, where the words, hey, watch what these agents are doing, are now considered terrorism.
Todd Blanche, the deputy AG, literally used that word, Mary. He called it terrorism, and they're preparing grand jury subpoenas. This is the federal government using the DOJ as a blunt force instrument to decapitate local leadership that doesn't fall in line.
It's the February 1st deadline that's the real kicker, though, right? The funding cliff?
Oh, it's a massive cliff. The administration is telling these sanctuary cities, you have until February 1st to comply with every single ICE detainer or we pull all federal funding. But it's not just the money anymore. Now it's comply or we put your governor in a jumpsuit.
Look, I gotta tell you, this is where the union hall side of me gets really loud. This isn't about immigration anymore. This is about whether a state has any rights at all if they disagree with the guy in the big house. It's like a coach being told he's getting a lifetime ban because he questioned a referee's call. It's an unforced error that's gonna tear the league apart.
But it's legislative constipation at its peak because the Democrats in D.C. they're standing there. Chuck Schumer is trying to fight the DOJ budget cuts, which is great, but the DOJ is out here turning the Constitution into a suggestional pamphlet. Where's the urgency?
The urgency is in the streets, John. Look at what's happening in Iran. You see the reports this morning? The final shot crackdown?
I saw it. It's horrifying. Security forces are executing wounded protesters on the spot because they've run out of prison cells. 34 confirmed dead this morning.
And the pharmacological torture? Forcing pills on 27-year-old women to break their minds? It's the same playbook, Jon. Different scale, but the same playbook. Black out the internet, call the protesters rioters, and use lethal force to cleanse the dissent. Whether it's Tehran or the DOJ trying to intimidate Minneapolis, the goal is the same. Absolute silence.
You're right. It's a unified global crisis of democracy. You see it in Uganda with Museveni's re-election and the torture of opposition supporters there too. It's like a virus that's figured out how to bypass the democratic immune system. And meanwhile, we're bottle-feeding goats in the Catskills and hoping the satellite link stays up.
Hey, don't knock the goats. Mitch probably has a better grasp on constitutional law than the current DOJ.
He certainly has a higher moral compass. He only bites you if you stop giving him oats. He doesn't subpoena you for having an opinion.
But Jon, let's go back to Walz and Frey for a second. If they actually move on these grand juries, if they actually indict a sitting governor for encouraging citizens to film the police, what's the end game?
The end game is the total erosion of the 10th Amendment, Mary. It's the imperial presidency in full bloom. If you can criminalize the act of advising your citizens on their civil rights, then there is no such thing as a sanctuary. The whole country becomes a federal precinct where the only law is the latest post on Truth Social. It's a national edging session where the climax is just a boot on everyone's neck.
Oh, you and your metaphors, Jon. But honestly, you're right. It's a slow-motion execution of the idea of local governance. And February 1st is the date. That's the red circle on the calendar. If the funding stops and the handcuffs come out, that's not just a policy shift. That's a regime change.
And the timing. Jan 17th. We're 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from a potential federal takeover of local law enforcement. Look, I've seen some dark stuff in my time. I thought 2016 broke my soul. But this is like watching the soul being extracted with a vacuum cleaner.
Well, we're still here, and Walz isn't backing down yet. Frey isn't backing down. I gotta tell you, I like a fighter. Even if they're staring down a DOJ grand jury, there's something about that Union Hall grit that gives me a sliver of hope.
Hope is for people who haven't read the federal budget, Mary. But I'll take spite as a substitute. Spite is a very effective fuel.
Spite and dark humor. That's the Queen's way. We might be heading into a 25% tariff on the world and a federal war on cities, but at least we've got a front row seat for the lunar mission launch today. Maybe they can just leave us up there?
Artemis 2, the get me the hell off this planet express. I'd book a ticket if I didn't think the FAA would ground the flight because the rocket didn't have enough Golden Dome logos on it.
Right. This rocket brought to you by Greenland Real Estate.
Okay, look, we're out of time before the satellite drops again. Let's recap the apocalypse for those keeping score at home. Europe is on the trade war chopping block. Senator Fetterman is being ghosted by his own base. The CFPB is being starved like a Dickensian orphan. And the DOJ is trying to turn the governor of Minnesota into the newest member of a chain gang.
And RFK Jr. is still the bossier doctor. Don't forget that.
How could I? I could feel my cholesterol rising just thinking about it. Anyway, Mary, go get some coffee. I'm going to go see if Mitch wants to run for the Senate in 2028. He's got the name recognition, and his policy on eating everything in sight is already standard practice in D.C.
He's got my vote. See you, Jon.
Good night, and, well, good luck. We're all gonna need it. Pref.